Hey everybody, my name is Cole. Welcome to my channel. This is Trans Spirit Indigo. I am a soul having a human experience and I am transgender. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what life was like being queer before the internet. Hey you, I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell notification. Make sure to like this video and leave a comment below. Let me know, what has your experience been like? Everybody is going to have a different perspective. Some people went a lot longer being LGBTQIA than I did without the internet. And some people are a lot younger than me. So yeah, leave a comment below and share your experience if you feel so inclined. I'm going to share mine right about now. Being transgender for me before the internet was a big popular thing, or even a thing, was not as delightful as it is now. For those of you that don't know, I was born in 1984, which makes me 36 years old, almost 36 and a half years old. So for most of my childhood, there was no internet, not in my house. I'm sure there were some houses with the internet, and especially people with higher income brackets and people that worked on computers in the late 80s probably had computers in their homes. Now, by the 90s, a lot of people did start getting computers, and I had friends whose parents worked as computer software engineers and such, where they did have computers in the home. Personally, in our house, we didn't have a computer until I was in high school, which was between 1998 and the year 2002. So by the time I was 16, I remember the computer being in the house, but just not really utilizing it much, not really feeling drawn to it. I preferred playing music with an acoustic guitar and writing song lyrics on a notepad with a pen. Thinking back, honestly, if I was in my preteens or a teenager and I had the ability to look up things about the LGBT community and look up the word transgender, my life definitely would have panned out a little bit differently than it did. One of the most difficult parts of my whole experience growing up was not being able to understand what was going on with me, because from what I understood, without any internet, without any without any information that was outside of just the immediate people I was around, I didn't realize that transgender existed or that it was an actual thing. But that's what was going on with me for my entire childhood and into being a teenager. So if I would have had more resources and information to research and go over, I think it would have been way more helpful for my personal trans journey, because that's pretty much how I discovered what the word meant. Is I had wow, I'm sure you guys will hear that in the video. That's kind of spooky. That's some serious thunderstorms going on. Anyway, now I try not to get stuck on the whole fact that there was no internet when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, really 17. I didn't really get on the internet a lot until I was around 22 with MySpace. But even then, I wasn't checking my emails often. It wasn't a part of my life and what I was doing at the time. So the internet, for me, if I would have had access to something that like what we have now years ago, my whole experience in discovering what trans meant could have been a lot different. So I'm really thankful that nowadays people can go and connect with other people from the queer community. We have so much more support these days, and that is so freaking awesome. Because as much as I'm saying, hey, it would have been better for me, I'm still blessed to experience it in my lifetime. There are so many people that have not lived to experience this whole online community that we have, and just for all sorts of stuff, not just being trans or LGBTQIA, all sorts of stuff, sports, just a connection of human beings. Being transgender before the internet was really a thing. Like, I'm recalling the early 90s, the mid 90s. I mean, I was also like 11 and 12 years old in 1996, if that gives you a point of reference. And my world was already pretty small. You know, I'm like 12. I'm going to sixth grade. My life is at home with homework and TV and my family and my friends on the weekend. That was about as big as my world got. But I knew, very much so. I knew since preschool, but in sixth grade I was well aware of the fact that I wasn't a boy, and it was just gut-wrenching. That's what I recall. So if there was more information that I could look into about that, like I could have Googled at the time in 1996, why do I feel like a boy in a girl's body or something, and transgender would have came up. You know, that would have been very helpful. And it's amazing just how much the internet has done for society overall. Like, we can't take it for granted. I think I take it for granted a lot. I forget how much more difficult it was to connect with people prior to there being an active internet the way it is today in 2020. And also just, like, again, like I was mentioning, the lack of information. It's like you were going to the library. You were searching via books, and which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful system, and I'm thankful that we have libraries. It's just, think about how easy it is now. You just use your little pocket phone computer, and you can look up anything, and connect with a whole community of, say, trans people, in my instance. And I mean, for me now too, like spiritual communities, I love tapping in with people who love to talk about quantum physics and plant-based foods and all sorts of esoteric topics. Like, it's so cool to be able to do that via the internet. I mean, I could branch off and I'll make this a dual video about life before the internet in regards to being LGBTQ, and also in regards to being spiritual in any kind of way, shape, or form. Starseeds, lightworkers, indigos, crystals. The amount of connection that we have now because of the internet, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's just amazing. It's so cool to be able to connect to so many of you via this device. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm so excited. I think deep down I knew maybe this was coming. Plus, like, movies were always depicting back in the day that we were all going to be able to, like, talk on these computer screens one day. So here we are. We're doing it right now. It was a small world. It was a small world after all. It was. We had the TV, come home from school, watch TV. I'm sure if you were an adult back then, you'd come home from work, watch TV. And, I mean, you call up your friends on the telephone, but that was about it. I mean, you drive to go meet people places, but there was no instant connection like there is now with the internet. So let's just be grateful. Let's just be grateful that we have this connection. It's absolutely wonderful. So the internet wasn't really in my life until I was around 21, 22, and it wasn't really heavily in my life until like the past 10 years. It's greatly changed my life, and I'd say overall for the positive. I'm very, very thankful that the internet has allowed me to connect with so many people around the globe that has had similar experience as I have. And because it's that connection that it helps us to heal. When you're that 12-year-old kid that thinks you're all alone in some strange situation that you've never heard of, and then 25, 30 years later, you meet all these people that have had similar experiences, there's something really healing about that. Like, everybody's just like, hey, I feel you. I feel you. Oh, you felt that too? Yeah, I feel you. Like, and that's in regards to a lot of different things and issues in this life. For me, being trans, it's been awesome to connect to other trans people. And it helps me to better understand myself. You know, it's like, I developed a lot of shame and guilt, and mainly shame, because I thought I was the only person that felt the way I did. And I thought that I was a freak because of that, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's like 1996. I don't know anyone who feels like, nobody's saying that they feel like they're trapped in the wrong body. I hadn't seen anything on TV about it at that point. The only example I had was, it was a bad example. I'm not even going to say because I don't want to get in trouble with it, but it was just not a good example. It was somebody that was basically, they were dressed in masculine clothes as a female, but they were making fun of people like me. So it just, they were, it was like, ha ha ha, it was bad. So it wasn't good representation. Nowadays, it's like there's just so much more out there because of the internet, because of all these different platforms. It's Netflix and Amazon and all these different, and Hulu, like all these different shows. It's pretty awesome, y'all. It's pretty awesome that we can connect the way we do. I look forward to connecting with you again. Did you grow up in times before the internet? Do you remember what it was like? It really wasn't that long ago. But for some of us who are younger out there, you're like, whoa, that was like a lifetime ago. So give or take, depending on where you're at age-wise, leave a comment below. Let me know where you stand with all this. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.